I'm sorry. Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to another episode of your favorite show. I'm your host, Belle, and I'm excited to be back here. I know it's been a minute. It has been some long couple of months with school and work and everything, and I haven't been able to come over here and drop some nuggets for you. So I really sincerely apologize for that. Thank you for tuning in again, and you won't regret it. All right, today we're going to be talking about generational burdens. I have to explain what I mean by this. Generational burdens, I call it, is when families, when you continue to inherit the burdens from the generation before. I'm going to use some phrases to help you understand what I'm trying to talk about today, which I decided to phrase as generational burdens. In nursing, they call it swallowing your young. It's not really the young, but I've heard people talk about this, where when new nurses show up, the nurses who have been there before them, they treat them badly because they feel like those new nurses are a threat to them and their careers, and so they try to force them out by treating them really ugly. In the American culture, something that I've heard about that has been really close to that has been the baby boomers have been the generation that, it seems like they were the first generation to be burdened with their elderly as well as their young at the same time. In the African culture or community, I'm going to talk about how your younger children, when you raise your kids, as soon as they go off to college, because college is in another town, or they start to do some kind of a business, whatever it is, they open a little kiosk in front of the house. As soon as they start, you begin to ask them for money. You begin to ask them for assistance to assist the family. And so you stunt their growth. You make sure that they can't grow from there because now they are suddenly burdened with all these responsibilities, and without them you will be, the family would die, when you know that that's not true. You know that you were doing fine before they started doing their little gig, and you know that you can support them for a while longer so that they get to they max out of their potential to the highest that you can go. And of course, the bush fallers, when a kid travels abroad, naturally the entire family and extended family, all their problems are centralized like a big ball, rolling ball of trouble, and then just bounced on this kid's head. And you're supposed to take care of your family, take care of your extended family, take care of their own extended family and your friends. And if anybody begs you for something and you don't have it to give to them, you know that your relationship is threatened. And so you lose a lot of friends from that. Consequences of this problem is that your family growth is stunted. Like I explained with the little boy who grew up and got a little job and started selling, or got a few items, started selling at a kiosk in front of their house, and then the parents started relying on this boy for money. And that's how you kind of become responsible for all these things before you are fully grown yourself. Beggars stay beggars. The members of the family who could have extended themselves to help you grow to your highest potential, they stop growing because they now have you to count on. And so they conveniently lay back, and then they push every problem, towards this kid who's not done growing yet. The strongest become weak. So this child who grew up with all this zeal and zest, all of a sudden they are forced into this idea of adulthood, and then years later, 20 years later, they're still there spinning the same circle, weak as ever, and their friends have moved on, and and now you start to insult them because they're not who you thought that they were, because you made sure that they didn't grow. But I have a whole community of mothers out there who listen to the simple nuggets that I have to share sometimes, and I'm just so grateful for them. I'm just so thankful that you, my mothers, I want to thank una plenty. I'm talking for pigeon. I just want to thank una say, una don't see me like person where if he talks until una listen. When I don't see me like person where if he address una even hear to how they talk. I see all with our messages the last time. I see all with our thanks. I see how when I encourage me like picking for continue for grow. And I think this is what they talk about. They talk about how we will need for come together like community for continue for encourage us more and then me then grow. Me picking no joke come out today, start say macra for corner road. Then woke up tomorrow morning time when I say na eager for help you with the sister school fees, or with the brother money for book them, or me help your uncle with this and that. When people start try for support when I for family, when I take the support, but you make sure say when I continue for whole hand, for continue for push the picking me to go forward, so that everybody picking go get a chance for make them to the maximum of your potential. I think this is what they try for talk about today. I just want to talk for pigeon so that I recognize mama me them. Ma thank una plenty. I'm full on the kana. I'm beautiful as on the kana. Ndai come na Right, so near see me atuma some notes if what see encourage me. I take that seriously. Thank you na plenty. I'm looking near key community me Pam and I'm very grateful for that. About the solutions, what I feel like are some solutions to this or for this. You can protect your own. You can protect your young. You know, so I just learned that they have a group where my mothers, they come and they sit together and they talk about, this is amazing. They talk about all the things that are affecting the community. They talk about, you know, like teenage pregnancies. They talk about sex, STDs, hunger in the community, business, how to do business and do it well. They talk about this amongst themselves and they help each other grow. This has come such a long way from when I was growing up, and I'm so thankful that I have mothers who care about this, who can sit down and talk about this and care about making it better for the future generations. This is what every community should be doing. When it comes down to your child, when you send your child abroad, whoever it is that feels like they helped and they did everything to send your child abroad, and now your child owes them his life in a silver platter. You should step ahead of that. You should be telling this family members instead of saying, hey, I don't talk for that one, yeah. That one, I see this, I never hear from you for 7 months. Tell them my child is struggling. My child is still getting settled. My child is still going through this. Why don't we wait until they let's continue to struggle the way that we've been struggling. When this child has succeeded, this child will be able to come back and take care of their younger ones. But if we try to press them now, they might never be able to make it to where they're supposed to go. So protect them. Like the Bible says that you should, you know, the Lord protects us like an eagle, you know, like protecting its young. You are parents here on earth. You're supposed to be able to do that. I don't care where your child goes. I don't care how they grow. I don't care if your child suddenly becomes a billionaire overnight. You should still be able to be a parent. This generational respect is a very important thing in growing a community, in growing families. If you don't have respect in your family, it grows apart. It falls apart. But when you have respect, my children should always be able to look at my mother and my father with respect and honor, because these people will continue to direct me for the rest of my life. And hopefully they'll be around to direct my children and their children as well. So be sure to protect your young. And always be your child's parent. I think that was already explained in the former part. Be your child's parent. When you call your child who is in town, yeah, we don't go Douala, go Yaoundé, the worker, you know, what did he say? And I wait you. You work seven for which office? When you call your kid, you should be able to talk to them and ask them really on a day-to-day basis. If I ask you, as my parent, what do I do? You should be able to explain it to me, because those hours that we spend talking on the phone, talking about everyone's problem, and you're not listening to my problems, that's a problem, right? When you call me, let's talk about my life. Try to make me understand that you care. You want to know my life on a daily basis, honey. How many hours are you spending at work? How many hours did you spend at home today? Oh, I will let you rest. You can rest. I will talk to your family. I'll tell them that you're okay. You're just resting. Or, were you not able to pay your rent? Look, we have got it over here. This month, don't worry about us. We're going to hustle and make sure that everything's taken care of here. You just worry about taking care of that rent. Or, this is a little bit of support that I can give to you. Be there for your child. Always be your child's parent. Educate yourself. We're now in a culture where, you know, in the past just couple of months, I've seen all the stories about young African kids. You know, I've seen a lot of Nigerian, some Cameroonian kids who have been picked up because of internet scamming. These are your children, right? One day you see your child is broke. The next day your child shows up with a Lamborghini and they're buying you a house, and you take it and you're jumping up and down and you're happy. What does your child do? And soon, when your child gets dragged off to jail, you're sitting there with your hands up. I no raise that kind of picking, no. I do anything. God knows I suffer for the picking head. The picking they disgrace me now. How you were there though. You're sitting in the house that he builds because he thought that he had to do that to make you proud. Make your children understand that you're proud that they're there, that they're healthy, that they call you and they talk to you on a daily basis. I know how hard that can be, but if you were making it when the kid was young, when your child leaves the country or leaves your side, it doesn't stop being your child. They don't stop struggling. You just assume that they stop struggling so that you can keep burdening them. Realize that they don't stop struggling. Last night, I was just talking to one of my friends who knows this young fella who lost his life. So this young man was, talking to my friend. They're close friends and they were talking, you know, so they were in contact for a while. And all of a sudden this guy stopped talking. She figured, let's check on this guy. Let's see where this guy is. She asked the family. The family were like, oh, we haven't heard from him for 2 months. They go to look for this guy, you know, come to see this poor guy had lost his life about 2 months ago. Nobody knew. So they had to go like claim his body 2 months after. This is what happens when you separate from your family like that. Some of you have family members who are in jail, been there for months, and you don't know. It was a very sad day for my friend and I, because we looked at it and we were like, oh my gosh, so if I die here, now I have to really think about who I have around me. Who's going to take care of me? Who's going to care? Who's really going to look for me? Who's going to be really concerned that I'm, you know, suddenly gone? You know, where is my family? Where is the community that I have around me? And so, you know, that helps you kind of get plugged in and get, you know, and this I've spoken to, you know, like our families this whole time. I want to sort of address those of us who are those kids that I'm talking about. Those young people who will get swallowed, those people who are just trying to make it. One thing my brother told me, there was a time when I was so stressed. I was so stressed. I was going through it, trying to help someone pay off, you know, some debts, trying to help someone save their home, trying to help someone send their kids to school. I was stretched so thin, you know, and so he calls me and he's like, what's going on? You look pale in your pictures. I was like, oof, I'm going through it. These are such horrible times. And he said, you know that these problems that are here today, even after you solve them, they'll be there tomorrow, right? Yeah. So he said when he moved abroad, which was years after I had moved, he had done this running around and helping everybody for a while. And then one time he took all the receipts and he put them together and he saw how often these problems were repeating. Oh, this person died, we have to do this. This thing did this, we had to do this. And then he decided that I will help people who want to help themselves. Sit yourself in your house and make sure that you're taken care of. Now again, there's those lazy people who are going to take this and say that I said don't take care of your family. If you're not taking care of your family even a little bit, even for as much as you can afford, you know, there's a problem with you. But if you're trying and they keep asking for more, sit yourself down and center yourself. Get yourself together. Find the pillars of your hope. Put them together. Make sure that you can pay your rent before you pay someone else's rent in Africa. Because the same way your landlord will kick you out here, even worse, you know, is the way that their landlord will kick them out there. Don't do things because you feel like you have to. Do them because you can afford to. When you can't afford to, you feel like you really need to, you know, you use your discretion. But for the most part, make people understand where you are. Make them understand who you are. And if they don't listen, if they won't hear you when you say your truth, that is your truth, and then you sit where you are. If you struggle and you die, it would take them a little bit to realize that you're dead, and even then they would just cry their losses, you know. So please, let's work together to make sure that the generational burdens are lifted. Let's work together to make sure that generational burdens become, you know, like generational growth. Let's change generational burdens to generational growth. Let's help our generations as we go. Make sure that you protect your young. You protect your young. The Bible says that. You should protect your young. Make sure that they grow to a point where they can actually fly by themselves before you let go. Don't have your children raising themselves because, you know, you could. You people should struggle together. If it's a struggle together time, struggle together. Don't see your child clearly losing weight, losing their mind, losing, you know, everything because they're trying to keep you happy and you continue to push. You know, you continue to call and go, oh, and this happened, and that happened. No. Sit there, let people laugh at you. You know, your child is in America and you can't afford this. That's okay. Accept it. Sit there. You know, I'm so proud of my mothers because I just know that my village is not going to be where it has been. I know that in 5 years with just that group, already the things that these women are doing, man, the stories that I'm hearing, I'm so impressed. I know that in like 5 years, you know, all this, the village that I left, I will go back and I'll see it so different because when the women move, right, the community moves. So I'm so proud of my mothers. Every mother I have, like even my mom here, Kat, so industrious. It's like God just gives you all these people who are supposed to help you stand a certain way. So a shout out to my mothers, India, Ndekong, India, a group of development. Shout out to you guys. Bravo to you guys. I am so proud of you guys. Keep going. We'll keep struggling behind you. Keep protecting us. Keep covering us. We'll keep growing. You know, and that's how we know to grow. Thank you. Have a happy rest of your week.